Oh, that's actually a semi over. Buttons do 4 things. Each one. All right, here we are starting week 2. Chris has got all the big cracks. As we were talking about last week, he's got all the big areas that even looked susceptible. What's the word?
Susceptible.
Thank you very much. To any kind of moisture. Again, the only place we saw moisture a tad was this very corner right here, and so we like just overkilled it huge. These other places didn't ever see moisture come through ever, but it looked like it may have in the past before we got the house, because the paint was starting to come away and stuff like that, and there was some cracks, and it could have just been shifts in foundation or whatever. So we just decided to punch anything else that looks susceptible. Never mind. All right, so now we're going back to what Chris is doing today. Is he's putting the Drylok paint on, and this stuff is really thick. And surprisingly, it's actually filling, you can see this, I'll zoom in. It's actually filling the cracks pretty good. Like, go over that one right there, Chris.
This one?
Yeah.
You caught me just as I'm running out.
Go up that way, there you go. So I can show how the paint is really, this Drylok paint is extremely thick, and you want to use a brush, as Chris found out, and we tried a roller on unless it's a smooth surface, a roller just doesn't cut it. You want to use a brush. It looks, for this size basement, it's probably going to take 4 or 5 cans, ain't it?
I'm putting it on thick, and so yeah, this wall will take about 4 or 5 cans.
Right. So hold the can up for me real quick,
yeah,
so we can show what we were using.
Yeah.
And this is what we're talking about.
Just simple Drylok masonry water filler or waterproofer.
So that's where we're at so far with this. This is day 2 of the 2nd week.
Mm-hmm.
Chris was just finishing up the hydraulic cement yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
We've got the windows ordered. They'll be here probably in a couple days, so he'll probably not get to that till the end of this week or next week. Again, keep in mind, these walls didn't show any sign of moisture coming through. We're just doing all this stuff except for that one corner I mentioned on this wall, and that wall is just precautionary, because once we get it covered, we won't be able to see it. But I've lived here about 3 years now, over 3 years, and have never had any real issues at all with the walls in this part of the basement. The wall in the other section, again, as you saw, totally different story, which we'll address. But for this room, no water issues. So again, everything we're doing in this room is simply just overkill to be cautious. That's it. Hey, Chris, down in the dungeon. How you doing, Christopher?
I'm all right.
All right.
Brushing away.
It's brushing away. We went ahead and changed the brush we were using. That's a big old stain brush. They didn't have a Drylok brush, but the paintbrush we were using was just taking too long. It was too small. So we picked up one of these guys. It was like $17. It's not necessarily the right brush for the job, but
it's better than what we had.
It's better than what we had.
It's like 5.5 inches, and my last brush was only 4 inches, so we got that. And then this sucker's about 2 inches wide, so it holds a lot of paint.
Yeah, it's he's breezing through this now compared to before. Mm-hmm. So yeah, definitely go with a fat brush. Let's get a good shot of that real quick.
Yep.
Yeah, go with a nice big fat brush. And
I put the handle aside because the one downside to this kind of brush is it's really heavy.
Yeah.
So one of the things I've noticed, if you're painting a really big portion or a long wall or something, my hand has tired out. I've had to switch back and forth.
And that's what they said in their ad for the Drylok brush was it won't get heavy like a big, that's one thing they said.
This thing is really heavy. This thing is very heavy. Right. The handle was just getting in my way and it was extra weight, so I got rid of it. It helped a little bit, but I still notice I have to change hands every once in a while and let one hand rest.
So yeah, you probably want to get a Drylok brush if you're, but we didn't want to wait for one to come in the mail, and no one had one locally. But Drylok has a brush that's about twice as thick as a normal paintbrush, and apparently it's got fibers that will handle the paint a little better and not make it as heavy. In their ad, in fact, they mention that it won't get heavy like one of these brushes will.
Yeah.
So apparently there is some validity to that ad, because as you heard what Chris just say. But
yep.
But anyway,
it's getting the job done. It's getting the job faster.
So
even if I have to take the occasional break and let my hand rest, it's still faster.
Yeah, a lot faster.
That old brush, it was taking me a while to get every little nook and cranny. And this sucker is just carpet bombing it. It's just like, you just throw so much on there.
Yeah.
Go back and forth a couple times, and that whole section's done.
Yeah, it's coming out much faster. All right, Chris, I'm going to let you get back to it.
All right, I'll just keep painting.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah.
All righty, Chris, how you doing?
We have one less window in the basement.
All right. So we're on week 3 now. Let's see how much. We were going to try to save this frame, but it was just too nasty. Wow.
This is all just loose down here.
So all that needs cleaned out. We're going to have fun with this. Mm-hmm. All right. So he had to take all this out, and then we're going to have to frame it in and figure out what to do with it. Mm-hmm. So yeah, sweep before you head out tonight. Sweep all this crap out, otherwise it'll blow in.
Yep, I can do that.
And then we'll just tape it off in here with plastic. That should work fine for tonight.
Mm-hmm.
So now we're continuing with getting our windows in. Once Chris pulled out all the wood frame from the old window, we were able to go ahead and reframe. And just to note, I did this wrong. I did this wrap all the way around here, and it was only supposed to be on the bottom and then on the outside of the window. So this is wrong. So do not do that. And I should have looked it up before I went ahead and did it again. I was going by memory, and my memory was flawed. But anyway, we went ahead and took, this is all green board. We went ahead and just framed in first with one frame. We had to trim it a little bit here because the brick comes out a little further. I'll show you on the other window. And then once it was in place, we verified our measurements, and then we basically just had to put a 2x4 on top and bottom, and we ripped down a 2x4 about 1 inch on each side to make it the right size for the 32x16 rough opening. So here's what we did. Here's the next window. We got it pulled out. We just used that hydraulic cement up here as well to patch the cracks that were between the blocks up here. So we went ahead and patched these cracks with the hydraulic cement. And again, he's going to frame it in. You can see where this brick here is a little further out than here. And so that's why, if you look over here, and that's why we just did a 45-degree angle here on this side, was to clear that. Let's go out and look at what we did outside. All right, so here we are at the outside, and basically what we had here, there used to be a slope here, so the window used to be set back in further, and then they had a slope of concrete here that would allow water to roll away from the window. I went ahead and had Chris do it a little differently over here. Now we trimmed it all with the PVC, so this is all plastic basically, touching the concrete, which I feel much more warm and fuzzy about, as opposed to using wood trim touching concrete, even though I know we framed it with wood behind, but the least that we can use of wood, the better. But we basically took it out to where this is literally right on the edge, actually maybe a 1/16 inch over this edge. So water can't, it's just going to come straight down. So there we go. Chris is going to go ahead and get working on the next. All right, so Chris has got these boards cut, and now we're going to basically frame in this frame a little more so that it's the right size for the window.
Yes, sorry.
All right.
Second board.
It's amazing how loud people are in their cars.
All right.
Here in my car, I feel safe in my car. Do in cars.
And done. All right, right side.
Oh,
See
yeah.
how that went up?
Yep. Yep.
That is important. It does that. And same thing down here. This might not. That actually sucks down quite a bit. Suck all these in a little bit. Make sure that they're actually. That's good. That's good. This one could actually suck down a little more. There we go.
All right, so you're putting on, what's this stuff called again, Chris?
Window tape or
Is it like a weather strip?
they call it window flashing. It's like kind of the word for it. The brand name, I don't know, because we found it in your garage randomly.
Yeah.
So that the stuff, I'm also doing it the wrong way. Should have done it the slightly different way. So careful. Oh, okay, hold on. I might have ruined this strip.
Oh, you're supposed to peel the paper off as you go.
Oh, you're supposed to. Dang it.
Good
Okay,
job.
Restart.
I'll cut out the screws.
Yeah, yeah. Here's how not to do it. So he did it like that.
Yeah.
Just did a little at a time.
Yeah, and then once he got it attached, then he pulled the paper back.
Okay, hold on. Let me make sure how much I need to go over. Okay. So. Right there. Go flat.
And then just
And then, yeah.
get it where you need it.
Oh, don't rotate on me. Stop that. There we go.
That'll work.
That will work. And then cut it. And wrap it.
I guess you're supposed to use a roller, but we don't have one.
Yeah, you're technically supposed to use a roller. You are. But we do not have one of those.
Where's that little trim piece? Hand me that little trim piece there.
Oh,
Maybe we can use that like a. Here.
Look at you being all smart like. Because the tape might get in my way.
Right.
I have that tape down, but I'm gonna go ahead and do it now. And then, because I got the caulk out here and everything, and then I'll tape it, and then put the trim on.